Welcome to Happy Hour. I'm Crystal and thanks for hanging out with me. Today what I'm drinking is Jim Beam Honey Bourbon. This is a new bottle, as you can see. I go back and forth about whether I want regular bourbon or honey bourbon or maple bourbon or, you know, flavored bourbon or something like that. So I'm drinking some honey bourbon today. It's pretty tasty. I'm a fan of it. Also, happy Friday. I hope you guys are as excited as I am that the work week is basically over. Anyway, so what I have for you guys today is a review of some of the new Tarte Rainforest of the Sea items. So I got two items from this line, and I've worn both of them a couple times, so I'm here with my thoughts on those. So the first thing that I wanted to share with you is the Rainforest of the Sea foundation. It's a water foundation. It's broad spectrum with SPF 15 in it. And this is what the box looks like. It's hard to see the actual color in terms of the ombre of it, but it's a lighter, more like of a teal up here, and then it kind of fades down into almost like a purpley blue, which is really pretty. And then this is what the bottle itself looks like. So it's a frosted glass. Again, the lid on it, as you can see, is an ombre from like a gold down to a purple. So I like that matches up, you know, the way that kind of fades down. That's cool. And so on the Sephora website that I'm just gonna kind of highlight some stuff from, it's non-chemical SPF. It's 12-hour water foundation, so it's supposed to be 12-hour wear, I would assume. It's a concentrated full coverage fluid formula. It's got 20% water, and it also is supposed to cover things, mask any redness, dark spots, and uneven skin tone while softening the look of pores and fine lines. So I've been wearing it all day today. This is the first day that I wore it all day, so I put this on probably about 12 hours ago, so at about the wear of the foundation. So I like this foundation. I would not say it's full coverage. I don't really feel like it's a full coverage foundation in terms of comparing it to others that I have that are more full coverage. And as you can see, so I deliberately did not do any like color correcting today because I wanted to see how true it was about that whole thing where it's supposed to cancel out redness and dark circles and all that shit. So you can see, like, my dark circles are still there. They're relatively pronounced. Hopefully they are worse now than they were earlier in the day, because if I went to work all day like that, I'm not excited about that. And a couple of other things that I did notice is that even though I used a setting powder in my T-zone and kind of like along my chin, I also used a setting spray after I was done putting on all my makeup. But I did have some areas where, like around my nose, it wore off pretty easily. And on my nose itself, fortunately, it's supposed to be like a more luminous kind of thing anyway, so the fact that it wore off on my nose and my nose is now shiny is probably not as big of a deal as it would be normally. And then I also noticed, this is one of my complaints a lot, unfortunately, is that where I wore sunglasses earlier, it did wear off in those areas. So I don't know if you guys can really see that, but I noticed it earlier when I was kind of looking and seeing what the longevity really turned out to be. Otherwise, like, I don't feel like it hasn't really broken up or anything, which sometimes I do. I'm sure we all have foundations that break up, and that for me always happens like along here. I did not have that problem with it, so overall I would say it's pretty good for many of the claims that it makes. So for those who cared, I got the shade Fair Neutral. So I am in the lightest shade of this, and fortunately for me, it is the right shade. But one of the things that I've had a problem with Tarte in the past is that, and I hate this because, so they have things that are, they're named the same across like all their different lines, but they're not always the same shade. Like, I'm Fair Neutral in this, but in another one I wear something else. And I wish that they would name things differently if they're not going to be like an actual color match. Just because I can be a lazy consumer and, you know, sometimes I will think, oh, I wear this color in this one, so I'll just order online instead of like going in store and swatching out something else. Again, that's me being lazy, but since they're named the same, I kind of have an expectation that they will be more similar. So that's just a little side note. Another thing about this, so this is like these water foundations, which water or serum foundations or whatever are pretty popular right now. There's a lot of them on the market that have just come out. So this, it has a dropper, and as you can already see, I've only used this a couple times, and do you see how it's already getting messy around the little, the grooves for screwing it on? That's just gonna get worse over time, and I don't like that just because since you have to unscrew and screw this every time, it's gonna get gunked up and need cleaning, and I've mentioned before how lazy I am, so I don't want to do that. Otherwise, it's a really good, I like the foundation, it's a good color for me. The other thing that I got from the Rainforest of the Sea line is their, the eyeshadow palette. So this is what the box looks like. It's very similar to the box for the foundation. You know, it's very consistent packaging, which I like. And one of the things that I really do like about this is that if you walk into, you know, like a Sephora or an old, well, a Sephora, because I'm pretty sure that this line is exclusive to Sephora. So if you walk in there, you're gonna see this and you're gonna know it's from this line. So that's nice. I really like that. So you're not gonna confuse it with some of the other Tarte products. Which I don't know if you cared, but if you're interested in specifically purchasing this line, then you might be. Like I said, I got the eyeshadow palette, and just to read a little bit about that to you, it's a limited edition palette featuring 8 creamy everyday eyeshadows, and I can definitely agree with that. They are creamy and they are everyday colors. There's not anything totally outrageous that you're gonna be like, I can't wear that because it's a work day. They also, it's a velvety formula. They're powered by Tarte's Rainforest of the Sea complex, which I also said about the foundation. I don't totally know what that means because I haven't looked into that because I am a poor researcher. So it also says that it's a creamy powder that it's never drying or chalky. It's supposed to hydrate and balance the lids, and each of the pigmented blendable shades is a blend of liner, lid, crease, and highlight shadows in wearable mattes and metallics to define and contour your eyes. So to get onto the actual palette instead of just reading about it, this is what the front of it looks like. And it's really pretty, you know, with gold and blue and purple. I mean, I don't know why I'm describing the colors to you. You guys can see them. But it's like a little, kind of like a paisley or a feather design on there. So it's really cute. Like, this is super cute packaging. So you open it up and it's a full-size mirror in there, which I really like. That's one of the things I really like about Tarte in general, is that you usually get, when in these kinds of circular palettes, you get like a full-size mirror, because that's always helpful. You know, when you've got a palette that's this size, that's a good size mirror. When you open it up, these are the shades, and they are honestly, like, when I first looked at it, I was like, it looks a little too neutral. I was hoping for more, but then you look at it more in different light, and you can really kind of see there's actually a pretty good shade range on there. And in general, there's a lot of different varieties of the kinds of colors that you're getting in terms of what you can use them for. You know, you've got, like, this is, you know, can be like an all-over lid shade, or a good setting shade for like your primer or something like that. This one here is a wonderful crease shade. Like, I used it in the crease a couple days ago when I wore this palette. So yeah, it's a good variety, and I really do like this palette. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the shades for you, and I'm gonna apologize ahead of time because, like, you can probably see some staining on my hand. I was trying out lipsticks earlier, and I just, like, I washed my hands, I've used all kinds of stuff, like, it just stained my hand. So good job Urban Decay for doing that. So I'm just gonna start with the swatching this out for you. I'm just gonna start with this lightest shade here and kind of go around clockwise. So this lightest shade is called Sand, and again, these are very soft and blendable, and this is what it looks like on my finger. You can see it's pretty light, and again, this would be like something you would set your primer with or put it in as like an all-over lid. It would also be a good highlight shade for like your inner corner or your brow bone if you don't want to do a shimmery highlight, because this is a matte shade. I don't use it for highlighting purposes because I have mentioned before that I love a really shimmery, bright highlight. So I don't like to use matte shades for that. But otherwise, people who do like to would do well at it. When I swatch it out, it's pretty good. You can see, luckily I have that staining of lipstick on my hand, so it makes it show up a little bit better than it normally would, because it's very close to my actual natural skin tone. So next, going clockwise, is this kind of bronzy, coppery shade. I'm not quite sure how you would describe it, because you guys know how I am not great at describing colors. But this one is called Mermaid, and Mermaid is one of the shimmer shades in the palette, and it's like, this is what it looks like on my finger. And again, it's not exactly bronze, it's not exactly copper, but it's in that kind of range in terms of what it looks like. And I do have it now on my hand. You can see just what a pretty color it is. And this is one of the colors that I have on my eyes today. It's kind of, hopefully it shows up, because in this light, in the viewfinder anyway, I can't quite tell, but I have it in kind of this part of the inner third of my eyelid. It is, again, it's really nice and creamy, and it blended out really well when I used it earlier. Next one up is Seashell, and it's this pinkish color here in the middle. This is also one of those shimmery colors, and the thing that I like about it is that it's not so pink that it's like, bam, you put pink on your lids. It's not like the lipstick that I'm wearing right now. But it's like a soft pink. This is what it looks like on my finger, and it's just very wearable. So it's right here. It's kind of hard to see because of the way that my skin tone is, but it's very pretty. It's very, like, what I like about these is that the light is very reflecty on them, which again is one of the things that I really love. So it's something I'm always looking for. After Seashell, we have this purpley shade here, which is called Wave. Sorry, I had to look at it again because I couldn't remember. Wave is like a light-ish purple shade, like a lilac, I guess you could say. And it is, again, one of the metallic shades in this palette. It comes out, when I put it on my finger, it's a little, almost like a slate or a silver color, but in the pan, like I said, it looks to me like a lilac. I'm just gonna go with it because that's how I feel right now. So I'm just gonna wipe that on here. And on my hand, it does look a little, it's almost like, I don't want to call it a duochrome, but it's a little like it, because do you see how it's kind of flashing a little purple and a little gray? And anyway, I like that. I think it's a fun color and I'm a fan of it, primarily because it's, again, one of those colors that's wearable because it's not too dark. So it's like you can wear that to work and kind of do like a daytime smoky eye, and it's gonna work out just fine, instead of, you know, there are some shades, like, I don't wear black eyeshadow to work because I just feel like it's too much, you know? It's like, it's not, I don't want to say it's unprofessional, but it's a little too much for a workday look. So up next is Abyss, and Abyss is like this darker purple shade here that is, I mean, I guess you could say that this palette in a general sense is kind of, there's purpley shades, and then there's like bronzy shades, kind of. So Abyss is, like I said, it's a purpley shade, it's a darker purple, it's the darkest color in this palette, and it's one of those shades that is pretty versatile. It comes out, on my finger it's very dark. When I put it on my skin, it kind of shears out a little bit, and to kind of catch the light, like, it's hard to see, but there are almost like little bits of of almost micro glitter in there. I'm trying to like look at it and see and talk at the same time. After Abyss, we have Reef, which is this more almost like burgundy kind of bronzy color. It's still in the purple side of this palette, but it's a little more brown leaning. And Reef is, it's actually the color I have on the kind of outer 2/3 of my lid. I like it a lot. I think it's really pretty. It's just one of those shades that I'm drawn to because when I am pulled to more neutral colors, I like bronzes and coppers and things like that. So this is what it looks like on my finger, and I'm gonna find room on my hand for it. So this is what I mean when I say it's like bronze and brown and a little burgundy, because you can kind of pick up a variety of colors in it when you actually look at it. It's again like on the lid, it's really pretty. I like it with my eyes. Overall, I think it's a daytime wearable color, and it's nice to have that in there. After Reef, we have this lighter, again kind of in the metallic bronze, copper, not copper, but bronze, I don't know, shade here. It's called Starfish, and I guess Starfish I would almost say is like a dirty gold maybe. I don't know, you guys can decide. It is, again, it's all of these shades in my opinion, obviously they go really well together. So this palette was really put together well and thought through in my opinion. This is what it looks like on my finger, and it is one of those shades that like you could probably get away with doing just Starfish on your lid and maybe doing like a little bit of a transition color if you wanted, but you don't have to because it's just so pretty on its own. And it goes really well with Reef. So here it is down below, and again you can see how well it just goes with the other colors. And again, it's just, I don't know how many times I can say beautiful or pretty or wearable. So just suffice to say it's all the same. The final shade that we have in here is Cove. And Cove, again, is the shade it's the other matte shade in the palette, and it's the one that I would say is pretty much like a good transition or crease color to use. So Cove is, I do not have Cove on today. I did wear it in my crease a couple of days ago. And it's just a lighter, kind of a neutrally brown. It reminds me a lot of like a more brown / warm version of, I want to say Urban Decay's shade Naked. Like that's kind of what it reminds me of. It is, again, it's very blendable, it's very usable, and you can see it right there on my arm. It's just a great color. So again, this is what the palette looks like. I don't have too many complaints about it, other than I did feel like the first time I went in and used these, it was almost like there was that top, just barely top layer of it was a little less participatory. So it took more effort to kind of like get that stuff on the brush and get it blended out on my lids and everything. Now that I've used it a couple of times and I've stuck my fingers in all of the colors, it's working better and it picks up a lot better. So just keep that in mind, that the first time you use it, if you don't get everything that you wanted out of it, give it a couple more times and see what happens, because you'll probably, you'll break through that top layer and it's gonna be pretty awesome. So like I said, I only got these 2 items from this line. There were other things, like there's not a contour, that's a big fat lie. So there's a color correcting palette, a set of like strobe / highlight things, there's a bunch of lip colors, there's skincare, like cleansers and that kind of thing. There's a face mist, all from this line. So Tarte really kind of went full bore with this line and released almost everything you could want from it. I will probably revisit this line the next time that I'm looking for something else, something along those lines. So if you guys got this stuff or anything else from this line, then leave me a comment, let me know what you got, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And if you aren't sure if you want it or not, because there are not as many reviews on it up right now because it's a brand new product. So I would definitely say get it. However, if you have plenty of if you have plenty of neutral palettes, this is not a necessary eye palette for you. It's a great palette. It's just not like life-changing in my opinion. But it is good. They are good items. The foundation in particular, I'm gonna like wearing this in the summertime because it is lightweight and it feels like I have nothing on my skin when I wear it, so I'm really gonna enjoy that. So anyway, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to see more review videos and things like that, then absolutely give it a thumbs up because I would love to know that. Otherwise, that's everything that I've got for you today. So cheers until next time and have a great one. Bye.